So, we had this idea.
And all its beauty is like the flower of the field.
We were all so upset at Andrew's passing that no one was really fazed when Strano arrived late.
Honestly, I'm surprised she showed up at all.
The grass withers, the flower fades.
Being the warden of the door was one of the most solemn duties I've ever had. It was like being the ups man when you have 50 deliveries to make in 3 hours. It's one of the most trying things you can go through.
Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth.
So when I came in, I was completely unprepared for what I saw, considering I didn't know Andrew had died.
And for this time forth and forevermore, the eternal God is your dwelling place, and underneath are his everlasting arms. Friends, we gather here in the protected shelter of God's healing love. We are free to pour out our grief, release our anger, face our emptiness, and know that we are here.
I sat down and I wanted to laugh. However, I felt much pressure to not laugh because no one else in the room was laughing.
Who would have known that fateful day as Andrew was climbing that tree that it was his years that would be pruned as the branch broke?
So how did you feel when the pastor mentioned the years of your life being pruned?
It made me feel kind of old and withered.
Yes, our existence is fleeting. As the scriptures say, from ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Yay!
Oh, man!
What's going on?
Obviously, you don't need a minister. Hey, is there any weddings to do? I'm going to Funkhauser to work out.
Have a good day.
Bye. Coming back to life felt like fishing, you know? Like that time that when you fish with your cousin and you catch that one fish that just won't let go and yeah.
Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about your feelings. Take us through your thought process.
Well, I walked in and saw you standing outside, and I thought, oh, what are we doing? I have met you before, so I wasn't largely surprised that you were standing outside the door with a hat on, but it seemed higher on the scale of weirdness than usual.
Mm-hmm.
I was very glad you handed me a red hat, because red is my favorite color.
We did a little bit of surveillance beforehand.
How did you find that out?
We have our ways.
Secured information.
I didn't know Andrew had died, and if he had, I didn't know why we'd be holding his funeral in the classroom, although I know he loves our class.
Yes.
Were you worried?
No, I was curious, but there was a sense of the surreal, and I didn't quite know what to do with myself at first, so I stood off to the side, and part of me felt like, I'm the teacher and this is my classroom, I should be taking charge of this situation. However, that didn't feel like the appropriate thing to do, since obviously a lot of care had gone into putting together this performance for me. And then I was trying to figure out how many people in the room knew that this was going on, and whether it was just the two of you surprising everyone. But then everyone was dressed in black, and no one was laughing. And then the fact that there was a person I'd never met before in on the whole prank, that just sort of set it over the top. I still am not sure I understand. One of my colleagues asked me whether you were making a comment on like dying from some assignment or from the class as a whole.
Yes, it was just a way to see that if it was possible to make an oral comm teacher speechless.
I had no idea what to do once the pastor, who at the time I thought might be a fake pastor, and I later learned was an actual real pastor, whether once he left, I really wasn't sure what to do.
I apologize that the hearse wasn't able to make it on time.
Yes, that was a slight disappointment when I learned that.
Did you ever feel as though you were in a dream at any point? A nightmare, perhaps.
No, but it did have a quality of that surreal.
So, what do you feel like your reaction would be to incidences if there were to be any similar incidences in the future?
If it were the same class, it would be, here they go again. This should be fun. Once you've had the first flying dream, you have a lot more fun with the subsequent flying dreams, right? The
quite a
first
good
one
analogy,
shocks
yes.
you, but then after that, you
Yeah.
start trying to see
Yeah.
if you can control them and how high you can fly. You
Okay.
know? So I think if it were you guys. Now, if I were to teach honors oral come next year, and something similar were
Thank
to
God forbid.
happen
Again.
and the same thing were to happen in that or any other class, really, something very similar to that, I think I would start to get a little paranoid, wondering if there were, something I was doing that was causing classes to temporarily lose their sense of reason.
Do you
Start
have
class that
evidence
way.
that this loss of reason is only temporary?
Oh dear, now I'm very worried. I'm gonna go with maybe y'all didn't have it to begin with as you came in my door.
That is a distinct
That is-
possibility.
I think that wraps up
I believe that. Yes.
Just can thank you for
Thank you.
being willing, and
No problem.
we will see you again next week.
Yes, we will. What was life like after death?
Well, life after death was really like life before death, but nothing like death itself. I sometimes lay awake at night, stare at the ceiling and wonder, why am I not taking a long walk?
Do you think that anything like this could ever happen again?
I think there's a high likelihood. In fact, I got a call this morning. But that's all I have to say about that.
Here they go again.